Hello world, it's Kurtis Potter with Boundless Inspiration. Today I wanted to talk to you about a category that really challenged me in my life and I struggled with, and that's destroying the limits in my mind. Now, I knew that I was capable of doing a lot. Like I knew that I could do anything I wanted to, and there's plenty of people on this earth that prove that. But it was a roller coaster of emotions throughout my life, because you could go back and forth from, I know at least I would, I can do it, I can't do it, I can do it, I can't do it, right? So those are the limitations in your mind on a lot of the most challenging things in life. If you're in a hard part in your life, you might be deciding like, man, I don't know if I can pull myself out of this. You could be broke and you're like, I don't know if I can get my finances to, six-figure status, millionaire status. You could be decently wealthy, but you may have a limitation in your mind that I can become a millionaire, I can become a billionaire, or I can't, right? Like we all have those limitations in our mind. So when I went through this myself and I was getting to the other side of it, I had to learn some things that I didn't know before, and I had to push myself past those limits where you're like, well, how do I do that? Well, one of the first things that I had to do was I had to destroy the labels, right? So I had different labels in my mind, like some of them were old failures, right? Like I've never been a millionaire before, so that was a label, like, man, I've failed, I've struggled, I've made this kind of money, but I've never made that kind of money. A lot of it was the circle of people that I was around as well. They had small minds. So another thing in destroying labels is destroying others' labels and others' doubts for you. I've had people tell me like, Kurtis, you're just all about these materialistic things. I had a pastor tell me that because I made a post I was driving down the road in Florida when I was on vacation, or when I was living there one of the times, and it was a Lamborghini, and I was like, man, if that doesn't push you to just be better and work harder. And I literally had a pastor on my face. Apparently it touched a sore spot in him, and he just went ham on me about how I value materialistic things, and that's the devil and everything. And, for a while after that, because it was like, man, this is a pastor, I started to doubt myself based on him. But like the other pastors that I see, for instance, like Stephen Furtick or Joel Osteen or, T.D. Jakes, just any of these pastors who are making millions and billions, they're also changing millions and billions of lives. And, I've heard pastors also say, the more you make, the more you can give. So I allowed the judgment of that one pastor to dictate me. And I know that it held me back for, it held me back for a while. I don't know if it was like a month or two. I was just really struggling with like, man, Kurtis, are you doing this for the wrong reasons? Should you be chasing the millionaire status? Should you be chasing the billionaire status? And then you hear these people, they'll be like, oh, I know plenty of rich people that aren't happy. All right, well, I know plenty of rich people that are. And it's a choice. Maybe those rich people need to get some counseling and heal, some of the stuff that's going on in their minds to become happy. But like Warren Buffett, one of the richest dudes, if not the richest dude in this earth, super happy, does a lot, gives a lot. Gives a lot to foundations and organizations and non-for-profits and churches, right? So to destroy those labels, you got to destroy the doubts not only in your mind, but in others' minds, and those labels in others' minds. You can't listen to them. When I first started doing these videos, actually my wife said, Kurtis, you're just doing this for the limelight. You just want to be seen. You just want to be heard. And see, at that moment, I knew that she didn't know my heart. See, I did go through a stage when she told me, I was like, man, this is my wife. This is somebody that I trust, and I put my everything in. And when she said that, it was like a knife in the heart. And I really started to question myself. But then I was like, Brooke, I do this because I went through a lot of hard times in my life. And actually, whenever I was having suicidal thoughts, I mean, this was dang near almost 10 years ago now, I had saw a video on Facebook from Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. And it pulled me out of a slump. One day I'm going to get to shake his hand and thank him and tell him the impact he had on me when I was having suicidal thoughts. And when something affects your life that much and something hurts you that much, when you're thinking about giving up in life and somebody pulls you out of that, I was like, man, I understand anybody who's having suicidal thoughts. I understand anybody who's messed up plenty in their life and they want better, but they're struggling to get through it. And you know what? If I truly understand it, that's why I do this, to help those people. Especially going and speaking. I speak, my home prison is the Pendleton Youth Correctional Facility in Pendleton, Indiana. And I speak to those boys because they're a product of their environment. I was a product of my environment as a kid. I was messed up by some of the things that I was put through when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you know what? I went down the wrong direction after that. But I was struggling with being molested. I was struggling with getting sold by my dad for $5,000 over the phone when I was in 3rd grade. I didn't know how to handle that. Then when my dad sold me, I didn't see him for 10 years almost. Maybe it was 8. Didn't even see him. So then I was struggling with all that, abandonment issues, being molested issues, being sold, my value, my worth. I struggled with all of that stuff. I'd already been taught how to smoke weed when I was 9 by my brother. I was struggling mentally, so I was sneaking, drinking the whiskey out of my parents' cabinet when I was 10. It just set me up for a bunch of hard times. So I don't do this for the limelight. I do this because I understand everybody who's run into a bottle, run into a drug, run into work, run into the gym, run into pornography, or just sleeping with all kinds of people because you don't want to deal with it. I understand the people who are resisting going to get counseling and help. I resisted reading books for a long time because I was like, that's boring. I don't want to read it. That was just a lie in my head. And I understand all of you who are struggling. I understand the people that's at the bottom. I've been at the bottom multiple times in my life. Unfortunately, I'm hard-headed. I messed up plenty. And I resisted getting help for a long time. Now, I'm forever grateful that I did. All those were fears, false evidence appearing real. Like I had a fear of if I went into counseling, they're going to tell me all the stuff I'm doing wrong. Well, you know what? That does happen. They do tell me if they think that I'm doing something wrong, my counselor. But at the same time, she tells me all the great things I'm doing right. She's like, I'm proud of you. Keep doing that. Keep focusing in this area. Even the most proficient athletes in the world, Tom Brady, best quarterback of all time, the GOAT. Hurts me to say that because I'm a Colts fan. But let's just be real. Best quarterback of all time. He's got a coach. He's got mentors. He's got people that he confides in. So why am I stopping? Why am I resisting that? It was a limitation in my mind. You're like, well, okay, how do I destroy those limitations in my mind? That's all good. Like, yeah, I need to destroy those, but how do I destroy them? Well, you know what? One of the things that I had to do, it's hard to focus on the past, and sometimes you shouldn't do that unless it's for a lesson, unless it's to push you and motivate you. Not for you to, there's plenty of times where I just looked at it and I got sad, down, depressed, regret, shame, bitterness, jealousy, all those bad things. But I'm saying use those to push you further. So instead of getting yourself down in a slump, hey, how about let's focus on all the times when we won? That's how I destroy a label, is I remind myself of when I was killing it in life, when I was firing on all cylinders. I was going to seminars. I was going to workshops. I had my business downtown on Mass Ave, Indianapolis. I was in the best shape of my life, eating healthy. My mind was right. I was reading. I was doing all of this. Then you know what? I got connected with the wrong people. And next thing you know, I went down to their level. I started having the same limitations last 6 years, the same limitations in their minds. And I look back, and that was when I was at the peak. So you know what? I've got to go back to my roots, back to those times when I was killing it. And like, you know what? I had to really evaluate, are the people that I allowed in my life to serve me? And it wasn't. And I wasn't mentally strong enough. They say that the 5 people who you hang out most is the ones that you're most like. In the group and circle of people I allowed in my life, I went right back down to that level. That's a lesson that I had to remember and go back to what I was doing when I was firing on all cylinders. What was you doing when you was firing on all cylinders and you was doing great? Go back to that. It was working for you. That's you. It may, some of the things I say may not work for somebody else. So focus on you and what you was doing when you was at your peak and when you was firing on all cylinders, and go back to that because that works for you. So, the thing is destroying these labels. Like, how do I do it? Also, one of the things, if I haven't done that before, I research people that have. I follow people on social media and read their books that have done what I wanted to do. Because even when I have doubt in myself, it helps me when I see other people have done it, because I'm like, it can be done. It's one thing to be an inventor when you're trying to do something like invent flight, when everybody's telling you it can't be done. Man, the labels and the challenges they had in their mind, but they knew they could. So they had to distance themselves from people that were limiting them by their limitations. And they couldn't even go back to, hey, somebody's done it before. Now look, people know they can make planes and helicopters, and they're just improving them at that point. So whatever you're doing, I'm willing to bet that somebody's done it before. So research the people that's done it before you that can help you. And one of the best things that I use is air. Because I'll tell you, when you've got limitations in your mind, they can pop up at any moment. Boom! Man, there's been times where I'm like, I'm firing on all cylinders today. Man, today's going awesome. And then just one thing happens. And next thing you know, I'm just like down. I'm down with myself. Usually when I'm physically exhausted, getting up at 4, towards like 5, 6. Sometimes even earlier, like 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, I'm like, man, I'm exhausted. I've been up since 4. And I've noticed that's when I start to get doubting myself in my mind, and especially around 9 or 10, when I'm like, dude, you got to go to sleep. I have those limitations in my mind. So you got to use air. I keep bringing that up because it was one of the best things I learned in my life. Air. Acknowledge, interrupt, and replace. Acknowledge how you're feeling. Kurtis, you have limitations in your mind right now. Interrupt it with, hey, that's the devil. It's a lie. Replace it with, Kurtis, remember you did that? Remember at 2 o'clock yesterday when you were firing on all cylinders? Remember what you accomplished yesterday? Remember what you've accomplished this week, this month? Remind yourself. Acknowledge, interrupt, and replace with, you have it inside you. Don't listen to those doubts, because that's a lie, and that's just bullcrap trying to slow you down from achieving whatever you're trying to achieve in life. Whatever it is, replace it with, you can, you will, you must, you're worthy, you're capable, you can do this. You got to destroy those lies in your head, because that's all they are. That fear is false evidence appearing real. Those are lies appearing real in your mind, those limitations in your mind. And I just want to finish this up by telling you a story about a friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name, but I know he's going to be a guest, and we're going to do a video here soon. He had gotten to a place in his life where he became a drug addict. And that drug addiction had got so bad that he actually found himself living on the streets. Like literally nothing to his name but a cardboard box and the clothes he was wearing. I mean, it was that bad. Drug addict, I mean, I'm sure you, whatever city you're in that you're watching this video, I'm sure you see him in all major cities, homeless camps, under bridges, cardboard boxes, eating at trash cans, begging for money just so you can use it for drugs and alcohol, sometimes not even for food. That dude today owns one of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the biggest steel companies here in Indianapolis. 1 of the He's got a house in one of the richest neighborhoods and areas in Indiana. Him and his wife have some of the nicest cars, nicest things. And this dude, man, he went and got help. First, he went to rehab. That's actually where he met his wife. And they are madly in love with each other because they knew they were both at that low together and they both came up together. Now they're millionaires. Millionaires. Going from living in a cardboard box to millionaires. And man, he's one of the happiest people I know, inspiring people, because he's got that test that he turned into a testimony. He has that mess that he turned into a message. And now he understands people like me. I understand you and what you're going through. And I'm just here to tell you, you can do this. It all starts with a choice. For me, I'm so grateful for the day that I went and got counseling, that I went to seminars, that I opened up books. I said, you know what, pride, ego, enough. Enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And just like everyone else, I can achieve that too. Whatever you're going through, somebody's went through it and they've got through it. And you deserve it too to get through it. So today I just invite you, knock out those limitations in your mind because they're lies. False evidence appearing real, they're lies. You got this. You can do this. You're strong enough. You're capable. You're worthy enough. You deserve to have the life that you want to live. If you want a $5-10 million yacht, you deserve it. You can go after it. You can get it. If you want a beachfront property, you can get it. If you want a multi-million-dollar business, you can do it. If you want to be a #1 top-selling author, you could do it. If you want to have an amazing marriage, you can do it. If you want to be an amazing parent, you could do it. Whatever it is you want to do, you can do it. Like Nike, just do it. Make that choice. Take that first step and make that decision. I will not quit. No matter what, never quit. No matter what, no matter what, no matter what. No matter how many times I fail, you get knocked down 10 times, get up 11. Keep going. Refuse to quit, because somebody that refuses to quit will never be beat. I love you all. I hope this helped you. I hope this helped you figure out some ways to destroy the limitations in your mind. One other thing that I want to tell you that I do is, writing down in the mornings what you're going to achieve. Not what you want to achieve, what you're going to achieve. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. I'm going to have this. Put a timeline on it. In 2 years, I will have this. In 4 years, I will have this. In 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, write it down. First thing in the morning. Not just look at it, write it down again. Keep writing it down, because then it will get etched into your brain, and you start finding things throughout the day like, hey, you know what? This is my 2-year goal, and this is going to help me do that. It keeps it subconsciously in your brain so you can achieve those things. Write down your goals. Celebrate your victories at the end of the day. You can. You will. You're worthy. You got this. If this video helped you, please like, share, comment, tag somebody, send in their DM, send in a text message, email, however you got to help share this. Write a comment of some of the limitations that you had in your mind that you defeated. You know what? Maybe even put something you have in your mind now, and I'll give you some feedback. Share your testimony to help others so we all can do this together. I love you all. Every single day, we're just getting a step closer to being boundless. Have a great day.